How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Jordan Red with us tonight. They can say their names and what they do in the band.
Hi, well, my name is Daniel Lee. I'm the lead singer of Jordan Red. It's good to be with you guys today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Dan. The first question that I ask every member on here is how did you start out Jordan Red, and how did you get all of your other members, pretty much?
We started Jordan Red in about 3 years ago now, and
Nice.
Dan Baker, he approached me and was like, "I need a vocalist," and I didn't know Dan was actually even a guitarist when I first met him. I was like, it was a friend of a friend, and then I was actually working with this other guy, and he heard my voice and was like, "I think I need a singer," so he approached me, and then. I mean, I was already doing a lot of music, and then he started sending me demos, and I couldn't really well say no to what was coming out of him, really. And I was like, he goes, "Do you want to join my band?" I was like, against my better judgment, yeah. And then we approached Connor and Dave from As Lions to join us on our record, and yeah, and then we went away and started writing like crazy, and the rest is kind of history, really.
There we go. Well, and how is I know obviously it's a little bit of a hard subject to talk about, but have you guys like been writing a lot during like the COVID times, during this pandemic? Have you guys been able to like write out some like new stuff that you guys are going to be releasing, and I guess how has that experience been going for you guys?
Well, Dan and I, we've always been very closely linked to computers when it comes to writing. Like, so writing remotely was never really a problem, and
Sure.
neither of us really stopped writing. In fact, Dan's like upscaling now with his studio, and we're looking to just improve how we work with each other sort of remotely. So he's always pushing to up his sound and everything. Me, I built this like this the studio around me, all these soundboards behind me I built and everything. So I'm always sending over demos. Dan's always sending me over demos, so I'm always ready to record, and there's always something going around in my head, like tune wise. So yeah, we've never really stopped writing, because I think especially in today's day and age, you always have to be 2 or 3 steps ahead of yourself, in terms of planning, and that includes songwriting. And with any record that you're writing, to think that everything that you write is going to be gold, you're probably wrong. So making sure you got a good selection of work to pick an actual album out of is probably the best way to go about it.
No, I would certainly agree, and I'm glad that nothing has changed, at least from your guys' perspective of writing music and stuff. That's always really cool to see that. If anything, you probably have gotten more into it as the time has gone on, rather than for it to be like, this is so like alien to me that,
Yeah.
that you don't want to do it. Or not that you don't want to do it, but it might be a little bit harder to get to that point. But
Well, there's some bands. Sorry to cut you off. I mean, there's some bands that they really hold fast, and I respect it. But it really is an evolve or die thing. With some bands, they will say, unless we can be in a room together, guys, I just can't write any music,
yeah.
man. And it's like, guys, I understand that, but you are blessed with the power of the internet. So maybe step up and get with the times, because your fans really need you. And if you
Yeah.
want, get off the your ego of like, we just got to jam and got to feel it, man. It's like, okay, I understand that. However, your job as entertainers, your job as artists, is to get music out there. And if this is the only way you can do it right now, I say get on it.
No, I 100% agree. I mean, literally, we're doing this interview over the internet, so I mean, I feel like that's kind of a, a little
There you go, man.
given
I would love to be right in front of you right now, shaking your hand, man.
yeah.
But it's like it is what it is, and kudos to you for stepping up and doing this, because there's so many people that are just dropping like flies in the industry because they can't adapt and they won't evolve. And I
Yeah.
know it's hard out there, but those that weather the storm, it's like that Forrest Gump thing, isn't it? Like
Yeah, it
with Bubba
is.
Gump Shrimp, they're the only crazy guys out in the storm, and then they came back and everyone else's boat is dead in the water, and then they kind of had full reign of the market.
No,
Not that's what we're trying to achieve, but you get the kind of analogy.
No, 100%. I get it. I get it 1000%. I feel like I've been doing this shit for like 5 years over the internet. So like,
Cool,
I
man.
mean, it obviously
Yeah,
works for us because like I live in the States in Jersey and you live in the UK. So, I mean, unless I was
yeah,
like
yeah.
hauling ass to go over to the UK, which would be great. I'd love to be able to be sent over to the UK. That would be fantastic. But obviously that's not the case now. But I think when people kind of rely on the excuse of like not being able to do stuff or like not being able to grow, and I felt like with your stuff, shouts to Jody for sending you guys over to me. I feel like without really like, I understand kind of the apprehension about doing stuff, but at the same point it's like, if you really want your music to get out there, you really want to be known and you really want to continue doing this, like
Yeah.
there's going to be issues that are going to be far exceed this issue of just being like, oh, I'm stuck at home, I can't do this. Like, you can go buy an interface, you can go like, plug your guitar in, you can buy like plugins, all that sort of stuff to get your work out there. And it just, I feel like people should really I feel like there's really isn't an ideology for like excuses and doing like music stuff, like, because it's all at your fingertips now. In fact, I would say it's
Yeah.
probably even easier now than it's ever been.
Well, I said this to a friend the other day. I was like, could you imagine that? Because back in the day, the reason that like sheet music was actually written down was because they didn't have recording devices. So could you imagine like guys like Mozart and everyone you saying, "Oh man, I'm just not gonna do music anymore because I can't get with people," and he would be like, "Look at the technology you guys have." Like, I feel that there's so many ungrateful musicians out there who don't understand what is right in front of them. We've been so babied, we've been so mollycoddled, and so much of what we have, like the technology we have around us, they almost see them as toys, and everyone wants everything exactly the way they want it. Well, I'm sorry, I I I just can't roll like that. If you don't adapt with the way that the world is rolling, then it's going to roll over you, and it's going to take a while to adapt. But as long as you keep moving forward, even if it's baby steps, I mean, I've had to do a lot of learning. I'm not the computer guy. I'm not the tech guy. But and a lot of my friends don't even recognize me anymore. They say to me, they actually the phrase "Who even are you?" gets thrown at me on a daily basis, because they're like, I'm giving them advice on different programs they can use and different ways they can do things, and
Hmm.
just stay innovative. I think that's the biggest piece of advice I'd give to new musicians out there, like to musicians who are struggling at this time, is get creative. You're creative individuals, so really get on it.
Yeah, no, I would agree, and I got this one tip from another artist I've had on here, which was like they would like email tracks back and forth to each other and be like, "Hey, this is like I sent you over the stems for like my writing and stuff, and like you can
Yeah,
enter it in and just figure out how it works." And then they would be on like a video call and say like, "Oh, I
yeah,
like this. I think you could maybe fix this or you could tweak that." And I think
yeah,
there's just ways that like obviously, again, I know I already mentioned already, but this interview, like I could be running up a session with Daniel right now about like music, and we're good, like I have
yeah,
the interface, he has the interface, we can like we both use different DAWs or whatever or something like that, and
yeah.
it can be done that way. And I think like you said, I feel like people, if they want to be innovative and they want to continue to like press their music and continue to like grow as artists, I feel like this is probably, if not the best time to do that, since there's no shows realistically happening, future tense. And what do you know what I mean, like you work your day job, you could probably be spending writing music if you want to. I spend time doing this, so um I think it's just like there's options out there. So if you don't take them,
Yeah.
then you can't be mad at anybody but yourself for not doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And and it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun upskilling. Like we had there's so much of what I knew beforehand. You kind of forget the learning curve and the battles that you face with those learning curves, and you kind of get into an even keel. And I think everyone was just got so used to how things were working. And there's even musicians now that have been out of the game, and it's quite heartbreaking to be honest. But they got in their rhythm of norm was like getting back at say 4 a.m. in the morning and loading all their equipment back into their house, and they were like, oh, my life is like turned upside down. And now they're like, that's the last thing they want to do, and they're out. Like they are gone. They do not want to be back to that life. I myself can't wait to get back on the
Oh,
road and in front of an
100%.
audience
Yeah.
again. But those guys that don't want to do it, that's fine. That's fine. Like just clear a path, clear a path, clear a path, because we in Jordan Red, we want to be out there. So we haven't stopped. We haven't stopped writing music. We haven't stopped releasing music. It's not been in the way, and this is the thing. It's not been in the way that we wanted it to be released because we wanted to be a full band. But thank God for guys who want to do lyric videos, guys that can really do amazing lyric videos, guys that you know there is that technology out there via the internet that we can actually get it in front of people's eyes to still hear our music and still have the visuals to go with it as well. There are ways to get it out. It might not be the perfect way, and even when you do a music video as a full band, it still might not have the pyros in it. It still might not have the dancing girls. It still might not have all the Ford Mustang fleet coming in. It might not have the jet coming over the top. It might not have, Ariana Grande coming in and, being an idiot. Who the hell knows? But like you do it how you use what you can, when you have it. So, and that's exactly what we've done in this time, and it's been a blast, man. It's been such a ride. We're living through history right now,
Oh,
man. It's
100%.
it's such what an amazing time to be living in, and I think when you start thinking about things that way, it turns everything upside down, and you can actually have a smile on your face every day, going forward. Knowing that you're doing some good.
Yeah, like just putting out music and stuff, and like I've been like, cause Jody had sent me over some of your stuff, and I was like, it's cool to just see bands that like, I've been doing this for 5 years. Like, it's cool to see bands that are just continuing to work and like grind it out and like really want to
Yeah.
get their content out there. And again, appreciate you for coming on and chatting. I think this is just another way for bands to like kind of get to know the band itself and like how they feel about things and stuff like that, and it gives them like a little portal into what Jordan Red is. And I think that just as much as the music too, like it's cool to see other people's perspectives and like understand that like Jordan Red as a collective is going to continue to put out music and still be out there and doing stuff, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. I mean, it's frustrating. It's a frustrating time for us because we are our craft, what we've honed over many years now, has been uh to entertain, is to be stage performers and everything like this. And now I'm performing, doing live streams in front of webcams
Yeah.
and singing. It's still entertaining. It's just the adaptation has been very, 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 very different. But Jordan Red as a band is frustrating for us because we're a unit of a very powerful unit that wants to be that was designed for we're writing for stadiums. We're writing to like to blow the face, to melt the faces of an audience that's right there.
Yeah.
And it's a frustrating time for us, but we're heads down and just moving forward, whatever it takes to get out the other side of this, because we all know that we cannot live in a world without music. We refuse to live in a world without music. And not only that, we refuse to live in a world without our music, because through it all, I think every musician, every artist feels that they have something to say.
Yeah.
And and if you it's one thing it's one thing being silenced by someone else, or being cancelled by someone else, or but when you silence yourself, when you give up, that's when I think the sleepless nights come into it, and we're not ready to give up. I think if you're ready to give up and you want to hang up your, your guitar strap, then fine. But we're a long way from that. Like even in this, it's not something that we're even remotely interested in doing.
Yeah, no, I feel like you guys definitely have that drive, and I've been watching. I went back because I feel like I wouldn't be a very good interviewer if I didn't check out your stuff, and I went back and looked, and I'm just like, these guys are just putting out content like that. I think that's what surprises me because like I always think about it from my aspect of like I do this shit by myself. Like I'm the one man band, you
Yeah,
know, and so I look at other people's,
it's tough,
YouTubes
isn't
and
it?
stuff, and it's tough, right? So like
Yeah.
I feel like, I feel like with you guys, I understand exactly your place. I understand I understand kind of generally, putting out stuff and just always having a slew of new content out. And so, I got to give you guys a whole lot of respect because it is, I know how hard it is, so I have to give you a lot of kudos for you guys just like constantly putting out stuff. And, obviously hope nothing for the best for you guys because like I said, you guys put in a lot of work. So, I hope it pays off for certainly.
Well, I appreciate that a lot. I mean, because well, you've only got so much like chi in a day, right?
Yeah.
And like you can and now we don't have that energy to sort of put uh into like live shows and into rehearsing and everything. So if you take what you would have used there and if you can direct it somewhere else, which is going to be more useful into that, in today's environment, then great. And
Yeah.
I think that's what we've done. And Dan is very, very creative, and I think I have a quite a good work ethic. I've said this time and time again. Dan Baker makes me feel lazy. Like he's up at 6 a.m. Like we talk about, every day. Like we're making sure that each of us is working out and staying fit and healthy, because
Yeah.
once this is all over, we're gonna need to be fit and healthy and ready to hit the road again.
Yeah.
And our music, it demands us to be a very high level of high level physically. And Dan is super frustrated that the I think the gyms have maybe just opened again in the UK. I've been doing home workouts like crazy, but it's a matter of where you want to put your creativity and where you want to put your energy into. And there's been a lot of change right now. And I said other people don't recognize myself. If I look back to myself 2 years ago, I don't recognize myself today either from where I was there. And that's nothing but a good thing, because I think you never really learn much through things being easy,
Yeah.
especially
Totally.
about yourself.
A hundred
You
percent.
never know what you're made of until you're squeezed.
Oh, totally. I totally respect. I totally understand all of that. Like that's kind of how I feel about like always doing this channel stuff. Like I always gotta put like I feel like I put a little pretty decent amount of pressure on myself to like always put content out and stuff like that. So I totally get it, but I don't always put like I push myself just enough to know that like this needs to come out and like that people are out there that want to see my content and stuff, and we got to keep
Because
doing
you're
it.
on your own back, man. When you're a one man
Yeah.
band, it's just you. It's just you, man. Like I've done like I'm doing a solo record myself right now, and when I first did it, it was just me. And I know what I my very first solo record was just me, and I had to be on my own back to write the music and everything. And now I have a few more people kind of prodding me in the back, going, "Where's the music? What are you doing now? What are you doing now?" And it helps. But when you're by yourself, when you have to set your own deadlines, you kind of think, I could wake up late and no one would be on my back. Who's gonna really that those still small voices, they niggle at you, man. And they can sometimes get very loud, and you just can't let them win, because that's not the way that momentum is built. It's about momentum, isn't it?
Oh,
And I'm
100%.
sure I'm sure you've probably seen like you put in, it's I don't know if you've heard of the Pareto, is it the Pareto distribution,
I
the
think you're
Pareto
correct.
principle,
Yeah. Yeah.
the 80/20 rule.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I'm pretty
That's
sure you're
all
correct.
through nature. Like, and it's like you get some videos that you put all this work into, and it would like have like a handful of views, and then like you'll throw out some. Can I swear on this?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
You'll put out some crap, and then it'll just be like, and then they'll get tons of views. And then we go, that was an amazing video. I threw that together in like 2 seconds, man, and it like infuriates you, like, And but it's just, I think it's like Warren Buffett says. He said it's time spent in the market and not timing the market. You just have to stay in the game. And that's what I say to all musicians. It's like as above, so below. It's the same thing in all these places in the
Mm-hmm.
world. It's stay on target. Keep marching forward. It's not, people go, oh, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. No, 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 no. It's not even a marathon. It's a march. Just keep marching forward. Stay in the game. Stay doing what you're doing. Don't, and stay on your path. Don't deviate from it, but don't burn yourselves out either. Like that, some things are gonna be winners, and some things aren't. Like, you've only got to check my hard drive out and see the thousands of songs that I've written, and then out of those, like one or two make it, and you might think that's a waste, but then you got your album.
Yeah.
I could talk about this stuff all day, but like
Listen.
I know you understand it. That's why
Yeah.
I'm talking to you about this stuff.
No, listen. Hey, you gotta vent it off to someone, so it might as well be on the internet. But
Yeah, there's
I
someone to talk to. Hey guys, there's someone to talk to. Like, who gets it?
I get it. Listen, this is my life too, so I totally respect that.
Cool,
Also,
man.
like, I feel like the moniker that I kind of go by is just like consistency. You always got to be consistent putting out stuff, and I think
Yeah,
regardless of like if people really enjoy it or not, because people are always surprised. They're like, man, you really kind of go to the drawing board every year and try to figure out like what people like, what people don't like, and stuff like that.
nice.
And
Yeah,
I'm like, it's all about knowing your audience and being consistent about what you're putting out. If your audience isn't feeling a certain video, it might be an idea. It might be time for you to like rethink it, overlook it, ask questions. Because if you don't know the answers and you're not gonna get the answers from somebody else, you might as well get it from the people who are watching your stuff. Like they're gonna
yeah,
give
right.
you the most honest feedback. Especially if they know that they like your content, or like they like your music or whatever, they're gonna give you the best advice probably, other than like some like higher up person or whatever. But
So do
like,
you do that? Do you actually do like
oh, 100%, yeah,
that's like what's it called?
like
I
a
just had the phrase there.
AMA.
Market research kind of
Yeah,
thing
yeah, yeah, yeah.
with your
I
readers.
always every year I'll like sit down like in December. I'll always plan
Yeah.
out like what I got going on next year, like what I feel like really did well, what I feel like flopped, what type of content
Mm.
people like to see. They like to see like the long form shit like this. Do they like seeing
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
shorter cuts of everything? Do they like reaction videos versus like an album review? These are all questions that I have in my head that I'm like, is this what people like? Is this what they want to see? Because I get
Yeah.
emails about doing singles and stuff, and I'm like, I don't have time to do singles. I'd love to do them, but I don't. So I always thought, like, my thought for this year at least was just to have like streams where I like play all of these singles that I didn't have a chance to listen to, and be like, I like this, like, to at least
Yeah, yeah.
envision and be like, I can't give you a full segment on this thing, but I don't want to seem like I don't give a shit about what you do. So here you go. Here's like a little streamed video, and then you could be like, oh, this is sick, like blah 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 blah. Or I'll like be like, let's do an interview instead, and then talk about your single. There's other ways to go about it, and I think that one direct path isn't always the right way. There's many different avenues you can go about the same thing.
But all roads lead to Rome, right? And
You're right.
ultimately you are, it's about you. It all comes back to it. Like, people will find their audience. I think this is the thing with the beauty of the internet these days, is that people gravitate to personalities now.
100%.
uh and that's where you really need to find your audience, and be yourself. Don't try and be anyone else. Say, I'm going to be the most like, I mean, be the best parts of me
That can
online,
be,
and
yeah.
I can show a very well-rounded part of myself, like doing, say, single reviews, then maybe having reaction things and things, and that all comes back to, here I am. It's wicked.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like I said, hope to have some more Jordan Red content here on the channel. Obviously, this is just the start. So,
Yeah,
but
man.
but the next question, Dan, we kind of tangent off to a completely different direction, which I'm totally
There's more.
about.
There's more
Listen,
questions. Okay.
I'm totally about doing that. We could talk for hours and it would
Yeah,
be
man, no doubt.
recorded. But the next thing, Jan, is I guess more specifically, since I have you on, who influences you as an artist, who got you kind of started out in music, and then kind of who influences you more currently, and then kind of the subsection of that question is like who influences Jordan Red, collectively.
So on a personal level, from a young age, I was always very influenced by my father because my dad would he would be playing a lot of rock music, say like from Led Zeppelin, the Kinks,
Nice.
um, and like a lot of the old school stuff, like even like the heavier stuff that Robert Palmer did, and that then he had like a pop sensibility as well. Then I was a grunge kid, really, like in when I was in high school, and I was a bit too old to be involved in grunge when it first came out, but I understood the spirit of it because I was an angsty teenager and like, Nirvana, and that's when I started learning guitar, and then like bands like Green Day. So I was always like a very much a meat and potatoes kind of guy when it came to songwriting. I wasn't really into I like listening to bands like Halloween and maybe some Iron Maiden, and I liked Metallica a lot, but I liked their more bluesy kind of riffs and things like that. And uh, albums like Kill 'Em All didn't really appeal to me. I remember being quite disappointing with the Justice for All album, but then I heard the Black album, and I was like, okay, there's something very special in this. And then like bands like Aerosmith. So I was very interested in in singers. I wasn't really interested in like the screamers or anything like that.
Hmm.
So bands like I guess the more going to sort of the more modern bands. I remember I supported. I was in a band some years ago, and I supported Alter Bridge at the Astoria in London, and that was the first time because I knew Mark Tremonti. This was one of Walter Bridges like first tours, I think, and I knew Mark Tremonti from Creed, obviously, and I had a jam with him. He's absolute legend. But the only thing Miles Kennedy was warming up in the room next to me, and he was warming up for like 45 minutes. I was like, this guy's really just dedicated. He's
Yeah.
just going, oh, yeah. And I was like, whoa, this guy's got like this like crazy epic voice. And then they came out, and it was the first time that I'd ever heard them. We'd sort of been given this gig. We were going to play with this band, Alter Bridge. Oh, it's pretty much. They said it's pretty much Creed with a different singer, and I was like, and that like couldn't be further from the truth. But it was just amazing, and seeing what Alter Bridge have done since then. This is like we're going over a decade now, but they just have gone from strength to strength. Just such an amazing band. Then you've got bands like Five Finger Death Punch. I know they really influence like Dan and local guys to us. Don Broco.
Yeah.
I've found. I mean, they live not too far from me. They're Bedford boys, and I watched them kind of go from strength to strength, but they're very, I don't want to say avant-garde, but they're kind of they're a bit more kind of out there, but they're really heavy. They have really heavy riffs, and I think, but the riffs are still very accessible. They don't overcomplicate things. They just they want to find the direct route to your soul almost. It's just a poof, and
Yeah.
they want those riffs that really, really, really hit you. So I think I'd say who influenced Jordan Red right now. I'd say it's more bands like Shinedown, Alter Bridge, Five Finger Death Punch, and I mean I know Dan really likes. There's some sort of there's some stuff that Bring Me the Horizon are doing right now that Dan really likes. I've never really been much of a Bring Me the Horizon fan, if I'm totally honest, but I think there's a lot of innovation, definitely on the last album that they did. I think that was they they'd got into some areas which were very, very heartfelt, and I'm all about the heavy and the heart and the head. Like it's like that sort of trifecta of like that the anger, but which kind of comes from, the place from here and here, and they sort of meet in the middle where you're trying to work everything out. And
Yeah.
um so yeah, I think those are the kind of the main bands that are really sort of influencing ourselves right now.
Yeah, I would happen to agree. Like I said, checked out some Jordan Red stuff, and you guys kind of embody that like I guess it's, I don't even know. I'm not a genre elitist, so I'm not gonna try to put you guys in a box here, but you guys definitely have that shine down feeling. That was like one of the first
Nice. Yeah,
bands that
yeah.
I was like, when I was listening to your stuff, I was like, if Dan doesn't say shine down, I'm gonna be very surprised. Like I'm like, there's no way he doesn't say shine down. Like I would be very surprised. I do hear a lot of, yeah, I do have hear Alter Bridge as well. I feel like those two specifically, I feel like were ones that came up in my head as like
The
not like exactly, but I feel like you guys definitely pull a lot of influence from both of those bands for sure.
I think one of the big influences, which is still in the background of my head, uh, is like the Aerosmith and AC/DC thing. Whereas like Shinedown, they have quite complicated choruses, and in the AC/DC will write a bumper
Yeah.
sticker chorus, like 'cause I'm back. Oh,
Yeah.
you're back in black, are you? You're back in black. You're back in black in black, mate. It's loving an elevator, living it up, I'm going down, loving an elevator, loving an elevator, loving an elevator.
Yeah.
And then you've got like choruses from Shinedown. I like to stare at the sun and think about what I've done. I lie awake in a great escape. I like crossing the line and slowly losing my mind. Are you okay? Because I'm still fine. Maybe it's me. I'm just crazy. Maybe I like that I'm not all right. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's an amazing chorus, but I we like kind of writing. It's like we like keeping it quite simple. We like getting into people's heads quite quickly because and that comes from a place of it being like what you do with your market research, understanding your audience. And with all due respect, people's attention span is dropping.
No, I agree. 100%. Yeah.
And and we have to adapt to that. We have to adapt to that because in terms of our advertising, especially in our songwriting. When I first started songwriting and learning under Ralph Murphy, and he was saying, first use of song title has to come in under a minute, and now you're like, it has to come in under what, 25 seconds for a single and stuff like that, and it's like formulaic as hell. And there was some, and to the point where if you don't have that, there's all these criteria that make a hit, and it's the rules are kind of getting squashed, and I think you can obey those rules, or you can start to sort of muscle out of them a bit, and then, I mean, I think that's probably what's probably going to start happening soon to make things different. Actually, to be different, you'll have to kind of not go back, but not regress, but maybe start harkening back to some of what was working in the past. I'm sort of thinking out loud right now. I don't
No,
know.
it's all good.
Just,
Listen,
I'm theorizing.
You could rewatch this and have all the knowledge that
What was I talking about?
You're gonna be like the like Method Man trying to like figure out everything that you said here on this interview and try to like compile it into like a thought that you're like, oh my god, I finally figured it out. So Dan, if you finally figure it out, let me know. But no, I agree. Like, and I'm glad you guys take, a lot of time to try to figure out what works for you and what works for your band. And obviously, I feel like your music has this like this earworm quality. That's what I can coin it as, like where it's memorable. Like when you have that sort of stuff that sticks with you. And I was like, man, Jordan Red's going to be a great band to have on here. And I'm not just saying that because, you're on here. But, like, genuinely, I was like, there was something about your music that just always, like when I talk about, your band name, I'm like, oh, shit, I remember that song I listened to, like, a couple hours ago. And so that, I think, taking that sort of concept and, like you said, pulling that from, like, classic rock bands and how they had, like, kind of like a bumper chorus or something like that. It keeps it more memorable for me, and like you said, people's attention spans kind of waver. And so, like, for me, I'm old school, so I'm gonna listen through to the whole thing. I love albums. I'll listen through to a whole album. I don't care if you release 10 singles in a year. Like, I'd rather have a full record rather than 10 singles. But that's just me, because I'm old, and I still collect music and all that sort of shit. But like, I think those people that like EPs or like albums or stuff like that are like a dying breed, I think.
Well, it's a beautiful art form and a beautiful work of art, having an album, because you have to go through it. You see it as a journey, and there's lots of different vibes that you can have on that. And is it going to be an album of 10 tracks, or is it going to be an album of 11, 12, or 14 tracks? And is it, maybe, do you have a ballad in there? How many slow ones do you have? How many really fast-paced ones do you have? How many mid-tempo ones do you have? How many ones make an audience jump? How many ones make an audience chant? How many ones are gonna get an audience to sing along? Do you know what I mean? There's so much that goes into that, and it's like, I hate using this term, but they say killing off your babies when you're writing all these songs, and they like, okay, which ones are gonna live and which ones are gonna sort of be shelved or never gonna see the light of day. And it's tough decisions to make, but like with everything in this, it decision making becomes like a very big skill in songwriting. And when you're running your own business, and it sounds like a crude thing because you're in creativity, but our business is being creative. Like being musicians and being creative in building things around us. Like, you've got a green screen behind you. Is that just for decoration, or do you use it?
I do actually use it, so
yeah, no doubt. Like,
yeah, I mean, if I bought it, I'm gonna use it. Like,
yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure that's not just up for fun.
No,
it's got.
I mean, it is also up for fun. I mean, I do use it for jokes, like in an interview or like an album review or something like that. Man. But like for the most part, it's mainly. I mean, I literally, the computer here, like I built that, so I could use it to do this. Like otherwise, like.
There you go, man.
Otherwise, you're not like, you have to kind of consider the source. You do all this sort of stuff. I have 2 lights right here. I obviously have my webcam. It's just what it's like how you choose to spend your time and how dedicated you are to doing what you do. It's the whole thing from earlier, like making sure you're dedicated to what you do. Like if you really truly believe that you want to do this, then you're gonna go out of your way to buy these sorts of things to make sure that you're gonna do well.
Yeah, and everyone's methods of I think asking people how they've been doing things in this time is so interesting, because like some of my friends, they've asked me what my setup is, and I tell them, and they're like, dude, I think there's another way around that. And I'm like, dude, I am all ears if you know how to do that.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like, say, product research or something, I think I could be really, really handy for some companies, because I've found holes in so many things. I'm like, I can't do that. I need another piece of equipment, and I'm building another piece of equipment to fit and solve a problem. Right now, I'm using 2 computers.
Same,
because it's interesting, because it's like that's not powerful enough to do that. I can't use that, and then there's latency on that, and then it's all kinds of stuff that crop up, and people are getting innovative on a very independent level, and figuring out ways around. Is like, well, I don't have the money to spend on a dual core computer, and this X, Y, and Z, and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm going to use this and this and this, and it's great. I love hearing that people have done like crazy workarounds, because that's how all our predecessors did it. Like George Lucas in ILM, when he first started off, he didn't have anything. Didn't he get like a load of college students or something in to help him out?
You're right.
Initially, there isn't. I need someone who can do this. There isn't anyone that does that, George. Find me some guys that can do
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's wicked. I
you
love
make it
that.
happen. You try to figure out
Make
what
it
you can
happen.
do, and you gotta. I mean, you gotta work through the problems. Like before this computer, I had like a computer I built myself too, but it was, I didn't have a lot of money, and now like I still don't have a lot of money, but I saved up to build this computer, and this is my workhorse. I use it mainly
Yeah,
just to
man.
do this, and I bought lights. Like these lights I bought on Amazon for like, I don't know, it was like 40, like 30 or 40 bucks with two lights. They just plug into a USB. I just changed the things, all that sort of stuff. I
It's
have.
the way to do it, man.
You gotta,
It,
you gotta be smart about it. I mean, if
you
you're gonna
do.
do it,
Yeah.
like that doesn't mean that you don't have to spend money. Like, just don't spend a lot of. There's no reason for you to spend a lot of money. Just spend more time doing the research to look for something. You can get the same results on something else if you just spend like 30 more minutes looking for something else that you can get for like a cheaper amount. Like, it's just that's just how it works. And I think a lot of artists now are being very smart with how they like record stuff, and like, a lot of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pre-recorded sessions happen like, have been happening now. Like a lot of the bands that I've spoken with, they do like a lot of pre-pro stuff, and they'll like email those tracks back and forth. And I just think it's just, I think bands, hopefully, fingers crossed, are getting smarter about what they do, and that's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm always glad to hear that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and some people don't have that, I guess, entrepreneurial sort of spirit, but I think my advice to them would be, if you don't have that, find someone that does. If you are talented, if you're a talented individual, like
Yeah,
in terms of like if you're a virtuoso guitarist or pianist or whatever it is, and find your business partner. Find the guys that don't have your skill, but it's like singers. I know so many great guitarists who are amazing recording and etc. And they're great songwriters. They don't have a voice.
yeah.
And if you're a singer, like you hold, uh, I'm not trying to sort of shit like you have the power. Like I'm not sort of like trying to sort of call out the one voice to rule them all or anything like that. It's more like it's understand where your talent lies, and if you are not that business minded or whatever, go out and find your people. It's like the Avengers wasn't like a whole load of Iron Man, was it? You had everyone. It was like the Hulk. You had Captain America, Black Widow. It's like you had all these different guys. They made up
Yeah,
the Avengers, but everyone had their own place in it. And I think that's what a band is. And you know, I think that's it. It's important to understand your worth and to fit in. Don't have role envy. Understand your role within it. Don't
yeah,
be envious of someone else. Like the singer stood at the front. Well, yeah, that's the singer's job. Well, the drummer sat at the back doing all these tricks, and he's doing. Yeah, okay, that's his job. Let people do their job. Do your job. Do it well. Do it very well. Be indispensable. Be so good at your job that no one will replace you. Be so good at your job that people want to talk to you. Be so good at your job that the word will spread about you and you'll be hired elsewhere. Stay on your path and be loyal. Be loyal as well. That's a
yeah.
massive thing.
No,
Just don't
so
be a dick.
that one, yeah, I can get behind. Don't be a dick. That's
Rule number one.
new rule
Rule
number
number
one.
one.
Don't
Don't
be
be
a
a dick.
dick. Yeah,
Before you get good at anything, just
don't
simply
be an
don't be a
asshole.
dick. Be good to work with.
Yeah,
And
like Dan. Be good to work with, like Dan. Dan seems like a stand-up dude. So, shout out to Dan here. Um, we went on a large tangent, which again I'm all
There's
about.
more
There's
questions.
more questions still. We are mulling our way through all of these questions. I think this interview is gonna be like
You
five
should do
hours.
speed rounds with me, man. Like,
This is like
put
five.
me
This is
under
like
time.
this interview is gonna be like 5 hours, and
Oh my god. Okay, right.
my girlfriend in
Let's
the
let's
next
let's
room is.
let's let, put me on a timer. Put me on a
Okay,
timer.
okay, okay. Next
Here we go.
question, Dan.
I'm
Who have
ready.
you been listening to lately? What's on your Spotify? What have you been jamming recently?
Oh man, I don't have a Spotify account, so that's easy. Who have I been listening to? I really hate Spotify. I love and hate them. So who have I been listening to recently? I've been listening to loads of different artists. Anything from, I don't know, like I've like really weird stuff. I've been listening. Hang on, because I've been doing live streams myself, and taking requests and playing everything from Pearl Jam to Genesis, 30 Seconds to Mars to Seal, Bill Withers, the Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Stereophonics, Huey Lewis and the News, Foo Fighters. I could go on and on and on. Everyone
All of
is
them.
who I've been listening to, and that's been the best thing for me at the moment, because I've been learning about the art of songwriting of so many different genres, and it's been amazing.
Very cool, very cool. Well, also go check out Dan. He says he streams, so I'll leave a link below, and we'll talk about that much later on, so you
Sure,
can go
okay.
watch him on
Appreciate
Twitch.
it, man. Thanks.
The next thing, Dan, another fun one. You kind of talked about it a little bit, but I'm curious if there's a more cemented answer. If you could pick a song to cover for Jordan Red, which one would you choose?
A song to cover for Jordan Red. Whoa, man. A song to cover. I don't know. I think maybe I'd like to try and do something a bit different. Like it wouldn't maybe, because I wouldn't like to do something which is something that sounds like another band that sounds in our genre. I'd probably like to pick something else
Sure, yeah.
outside of it. I don't know. Maybe still in the rock genre, but I know there's the band The Cranberries.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Classic.
I wouldn't want to pick Zombie, but they did a song called Promises, and she the is like she had that sort of, she was, oh yeah, oh yeah. I just think, the promises we made. I think we could do some sort of, like, we could really heavy that up. That'd be
Oh.
amazing. Yeah, I'll go with that one off the top of my head. I don't know.
I love that. I feel like, cranberries don't get enough love. So
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that one. And if you have any other suggestions for Jordan Red, drop them in the comments. I'm sure they'll check them out. Maybe they'll wind up doing it. I don't know.
I did pitch to a record label. They wanted a cover from us at one band I was in at one time, and I actually did a demo of it. It was Lady Gaga's Applause. I
Oh,
live for
yeah.
the applause, and I think I got like a real, the company didn't think that it was a big enough hit. I was like, are you kidding? Can you please just go onto YouTube, for God's sake, and check out the amount of views the song has?
Ugh.
It's a huge song. They were like, no, we don't think it's a big enough tune for you guys to do. We want something like a Rolling in the Deep from Adele. I'm like, but yeah, that would be a good one to resurrect. I think it was that's a really cool song. Like a lot of Lady Gaga songs, I think, they're just really good pop songs, but they translate very, very nicely. I mean, you've seen some of the stuff that I think Jared Leto's done some, and what's his name, Daltrey has
Yes.
also done.
Chris Daughtry, yeah.
Yeah, he's those guys and their voices. I love their voices, just fantastic, just rough, smooth. They cut through and they just get you by your soul. Really great singers.
I would say, to slight tangent, I will say arguably I think Jared Leto's a better singer than he is an actor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would argue that.
Well, there was
yeah.
an Oscar winner, isn't he?
He is an Oscar winner, so I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not a good actor, but
Okay.
I love those first 30 Seconds to Mars records.
Yeah.
So I mean,
me too, man.
I can't I can't unsee him as that. And then every time I see him on like the TV screen
Yeah.
or like movie screen, I'm like, I just don't. Not that I don't take you seriously as an actor. I just like know you as like the emo post boy, for like years.
Yeah.
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 So I know like people in the scene understand that sort of stuff, but like people outside are just like, oh, Jared Leto is a fantastic actor. I was like, did you know he's in a band, or was it, he was making music before he was an actor?
Yeah, man.
Like it's just crazy to me. So shout out to Jared Leto if you want to come on.
Yeah, shout out.
You
man.
watch. I know you watch my show.
Jared, get involved, man.
I would love Jared Leto. He'd be great. But anyway, I'm talking to Dan here, which is my next question, Dan. Another fun one. Favorite food to eat? What's your go-to?
Oh man, I'm a big meat eater, so sorry to all the vegans listening or anything. I will I'll gladly a very big steak as my go-to. I eat a lot of chicken. I work out a lot, and it's just what works for my body. If I could just be a plant-based guy, fair enough. I go where my body is healthiest, and it doesn't. My diet wouldn't work for everyone, which is why I don't really talk to people much about diet and food. But yeah, I it's individual. What can I say?
It is. It's
Your
very
your
individual.
stomach is your stomach, man.
No, I agree. Which was funny because I had shouts to Neptune Rain. I was literally interviewing before Dan, and Jordan Red. We did this. So Neptune Rain actually has a question or not question for you. They asked me to ask you this. They said that you can do a pretty good Kermit the Frog impression.
Oh my God, what's everyone's issue?
I don't know. Listen, they told me to ask you this, so listen. You can do it if you want. I'm just telling you. That's what they told me to ask you here.
That puppet is let's get a green background. Well, I can kind of. I think the Kermit the Frog voice was something I started doing a number of years ago, and I brought it out in a live stream of late, and people seem to really kind of think that it was worth hearing again and again and again and again and again and again and again.
That was. I'm very impressed. I'll give you the kudos.
Don't be, man. Don't encourage anybody.
It sounds great.
Far.
Listen, everybody tells me that I do I do a pretty good Goofy impression sometimes. So I do that every once in a while just to, listen, I can't just let you stand me up here, Daniel, on my own YouTube video. So I'm doing it here right now. I can hear my girlfriend cringing in the other room about me doing a Goofy voice.
Oh, has she been subjected to a fair amount?
Oh, 100%. She does not like it. She also I do a Mickey voice, which I will not torture you with as well. But I'm not gonna. She probably is making some comments over in the other room that are unsavory right now. So, not to throw her under a bus. I love you, babe. But yeah, she's every time it's like this, she'll just be like she'll be like, don't do it. So anyway, I've humiliated myself enough on here. Dan, thank you for doing the Kermit voice. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Even though I hope no one else asks you to do it after this point.
Guys. No, it's gonna be plenty. They seem to find it entertaining, and that's my job. That's my job. This is why we're here. This is why we're here.
You gotta keep telling yourself that. The next question, Dan, if you were to have a guest feature to be on your next record, as well as a dream producer, who would be on your team of people you would like to enlist?
I think having Brent from Shinedown would be amazing. I think working with Miles Kennedy would be interesting. Ooh. But then a lot of people say we sound similar, and I'm not sure that would be sort of wise. I'd like to sort of have a different vocal sort of sound. Ivan from Five Finger, that would be interesting. That would be interesting because he could do the heavier stuff, and he could sort of give me he could give that moody like kind of stuff that I don't really do, and then I could take then we can harmonize. Yeah, I'd say Ivan Moody.
I feel that. Yeah, he has like a lower register. You definitely have
and I could take the higher thirds and stuff. That'd be wicked.
Yeah, you got like the mids and the highs. So I feel like that would be pretty rocking. So Ivan of Five Finger Deck Punch. If you want to collab with Jordan Red, we got to go on Twitter. You type in Jordan Red.
People have said that I look like a younger Ivan Moody. No offense, Ivan. They say like without the hair.
Oh, 100%.
Without the hair and stuff.
You could have fooled me.
I think we got that. It's like a Roman nose or something going on. Here, guys. Today, what we're gonna do is, sorry, that might be terribly offensive to him. What we're gonna do today, man?
You do look like if you didn't have long hair, you would look like him. You would look. You could be like brothers,
That'd be cool. That'd be cool being his. I have no tattoos though. It's literally it's like looking in a mirror and seeing like the opposite. Like he has no hair.
It's literally like if he just erased all of his tattoos off and then
put a wig on his head.
Put a wig on his head, yeah. 100%. I would have. You could have fooled me. If you told me you were Ivan for Five Finger Death Punch, I would be so believable. You're like, oh, you're rocking a wig today. Okay, cool, good for you, man. Like I would have been.
Hey, well, that didn't James Maynard do that when he joined Perfect Circle? I was like,
I think
that's
he
Maynard.
did. I think he did. Oh
Maynard from
man,
yeah.
boy.
He was like, I have to be a different person in this. I was like, okay,
You do you. That's all I say. You know.
do you? Man.
That's what you feel. But Ivan, if you watch this, because listen, I know you watch my YouTube channel, which I appreciate greatly. But if you'd love to collaborate with Jordan Red, I would be so enamored. You know, honestly, it'd be a joy.
You heard it here
have this
first,
happen.
guys.
So Jordan Red, Five Finger Death Punch. Make sure to tag them on Twitter. Make sure it happens. Listen, I want to say I have anything involved to do with it, but if it does happen, you know, that'd be great. I would feel I feel very happy that I made that happen. So you should make it happen too.
Absolutely, man.
Next question, Dan. You seem like a gamer, so I love asking this question. If you could
Do
be, you kind of. I feel like you could be. You know?
Is it my gaming chair?
It's the gaming chair. You got the lights. You got the mic. You got the tone, like the mic arm. You know, I don't know. You might be. If you're not,
ask me a question and then let me see if I can answer it. Go
okay. If you could be a video game character, who would you be?
on. Oh, now this you're not gonna understand anything like this.
I don't know. You got to give me a shot here, Dan.
I'll give you a shot. I don't think you're gonna get it because if I give you a video. Oh, hang on. There's two.
Okay.
Right. One. Do you remember Gears of War?
Oh, I love Gears of War. Fantastic game series.
Marcus.
Yes. Yeah.
Marcus.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, shit. You know, it was just,
Yeah.
it was just beefcake. So either Marcus or there's an NES game back in the day called Low G Man.
Yes. Awesome.
No, you don't know.
I do.
Low
I
G
do.
Man.
I do
Get
know.
out of my face.
I
don't
do know.
Low G
I
Man.
do. I do, Dan. Come on. I'm a gamer here, buddy.
Really?
All right. I wouldn't be asking this question.
Okay, you got to prove it to me now. What was Low G Man?
Oh man, I don't remember now, dude. You put me on the spot.
Come on, man. Okay, it was amazing. He had a spear, and he would like shoot the spear up, and he would like have different weapons that like he would be able to freeze things. He could jump really, really high, but there was just something about that game, and they had a really good soundtrack, and it was like, then they came. We'll send in the Low G Man. It was a crappy NES game. It was like an 8-bit game.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it to death. And you know, then there was, but I'm not really a gamer. I wouldn't consider myself a gamer. My brother Grant is a gamer. Like, and I tell you what it is. My setup is because I'm on Twitch as well. It's been largely influenced by how like the gamers, they got there before anyone.
Yes, that's correct.
They are so far ahead of guys like me, and I'm aspiring to these guys. And the gamers were ready for the pandemic. Everybody,
They were.
I'm just saying, and they got themselves the comfiest, most amazing chairs. They got great microphones. They got these like the arms and
The boom
everything. They
arms,
had
I
all the
got you.
tech all around them. And I go in, I saw my brother not too long ago, and he's got like his setup. He's got 3 huge screens. There's going to be another one above that and everything. I'm like, this is an incredible setup, man. And then he's got this like computer which is just like levitating. You know, it's so incredible. And but yeah, it's more of an influence. It's less of a gamer influence. It's less of me being a gamer and more me being influenced by gamers.
Fair enough.
I salute them all, and they've taken, and especially throughout Gamergate, I respect them. Through for everything for Gamergate. Don't mess with our world with, I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
It was just a great time.
I agree. Well, I'm glad you're gamer inspired. Also, Low G Man.
Gamer inspired. I like that.
Yeah, gamer inspired. I do like the throwback to Low G Man. That was on point.
It just shows how low tech I am in terms of my game.
Listen, it's okay.
I got into Nintendo 360. Was that even the right one? Is that 360? Is that right? What was Gears of War? Was that a 360?
That was it was on an Xbox 360.
Xbox 360. Yeah.
That
explanation.
totally is not gonna be
That's how
taken.
lame I am.
Oh,
Nintendo had Wii. Nintendo had the Wii at that time,
correct.
didn't it?
You're right. You had it. Listen, you fumbled. You fumbled at the 1 yard line, Doug.
Useless.
It's all right.
Useless, man.
It's okay. Well, I'll make sure to patch that over for you, Dan. I'll cut it up so you said Xbox 360.
The respect from the gamers is like,
Yeah, they're just like, wow, Dan. Well, don't worry. I'll change it. I'll change it up, Dan. I'll make sure to cut out that bit so you don't look like a.
oh, you're a great
like
guy.
a fool.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. No problem. You got it. Next question, Dan. Keeping it music related, of course. If you were to compile a dream tour lineup, who would be on it? Obviously, Jordan Red will be on it. Just feel like I had to put that out there, just in case. Yeah.
My dream tour lineup. I don't know. I guess it would have to be all the bands I've said. To be honest, I sound like a broken record with it all, but like I think playing with bands like that, and I don't know, because it's difficult, because if I said like a band like Metallica, I know exactly what happens with bands that tour with Metallica. Everyone just wants to see Metallica. So
That's
bands that I know guys that have supported Linkin Park, and I know bands that have supported Iron Maiden, and they're like, it's difficult because everyone's there to see the headliner, and I think I've seen a lot more open-mindedness when it comes to, say, Alter Bridge, Shinedown, Five Finger, shows. Like I know bands like Metallica are they're I don't want to say a dying breed. That's a terrible thing to say, but like they're the last of the titans. In
I got you.
In that sort of thing, like Def Leppard and guys like that. Motley Crue bands aren't really able to do what they did anymore because it's a very different industry than it was back then.
I would agree. Yeah, certainly. But I would love to see that lineup. So Shinedown. If you want to make that happen, I mean, listen, I'm not throwing money. I'm not throwing money at you, but like, I could throw like $2 if you want that, $2. That's what I got.
And he worked for every cent of
I did
those dollars. So.
I worked for every YouTube cent I earned here. So go do it. You want to insert year here, because listen, Jordan Red, they're on the rise. So keep an eye out for them. The next question, Dan, I've been asking this to a lot of bands I've had on to kind of close out the interview, which is what do you want people to take away from Jordan Red as a band collectively, whether it be musically, lyrically, or anything of the combination of the two? What do you want new listeners to be like? You know what? I want to listen to Jordan Red, but like I want to take away something from what they do, pretty much.
I think it has to be like, they have really good T-shirts, and we should be wearing their merchandise. Well, we're not just T-shirt salesmen, but yeah, I think knowing that we have a message of which is a real, which we believe in people. Like we believe in our audience. We believe that people have a lot to say. We believe that that voices should be heard. We really dislike cancel culture. We are for the individual. We think that the individual voice, that people's voices as a whole need to be heard. Everyone's got something to say, and especially in times like this where we're being told to put up and shut up, is a time when we really need to, I guess, rise up. Not violently. We're not the violent guys, but as things may be crumbling around you, I think now is the time to understand who you are and what you can give to the world. Not look around and say what can the world give to me, but we really want to instill in people the understanding that they have a lot to give, and with having a lot to give as an individual, we welcome you into the Jordan Red family. Like we really do want to build up a really good core fan base that's there for each other, that understands what we're about. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. We're very true individuals. Like the band is a beacon of truth. Jordan Red, the character, is a character for truth, and being true to ourselves and being true to our music and being true to what we stand for is very, very important to us. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, yeah, be yourselves and don't be ashamed of showing your best self to the world.
Oh, I would 100% get behind that. Like, I kind of feel like I do that with every artist I have on here. So, thank you, Dan, for coming
Good,
on and
man.
joining us.
Yeah, you are our people.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, Dan, the last
Do you see
thing,
how excited he was about that?
yeah,
I'm joking.
I'll cut myself in and be like, woo, like, with more excitement. The last thing, Dan, tell them where they can find Jordan Red at on social media. You know what you guys have coming up in the future, and anything else you want to plug or talk about, things of that nature.
So Jordan Red Band on pretty much everything online. Uh, so Jordan Red on jordan-red.com is our website, and head over there. You can find like all our merchandise and things like that on Facebook, Jordan Red Band, Instagram, Jordan Red Band. On I think do we use Twitter? I don't think we use Twitter. But definitely search out Jordan Red on Spotify. We've been added to heaps of playlists. Our new single Freak Show is doing really, really well, getting added to heaps and heaps of playlists on Spotify like every single day. The reaction from people has been really unprecedented. We did want to do more with the video on this, but we really do like the lyric video. So go check us out. Go check out Freak Show on YouTube because the new video is absolutely wicked. And yeah, it's very, very cheeky video, but the Freak Show is in full swing, and we are happy to be a musical part of it.
There we go. And then where can they find you out on Twitch, Dan? Are you under the same name or no?
On Twitch, my personal Twitch is Daniel J Lee Leigh Music, Daniel J Lee Music, and on Facebook, my personal one is Daniel Lee Leigh Music, and I live stream almost every weekday. So,
ooh, wow,
yeah,
dedication.
Yeah, just in it. It's you just gotta be there, just be in it, and don't deviate from the path.
I figure I'd give you a shout on the whole Twitch thing you talked about earlier. So gotta give that the Twitch streamers up. So
Twitch.
Go check out Dan as well as Jordan Red. Where you can get a sick T-shirt like Dan's rocking here.
Plenty of merchandise out now. It's the lifeblood of the band right now, to be honest. So it's selling merchandise and things, getting the name out there. It's important.
Yes, definitely. Well, massive shout outs to Jody for setting this up, hooking it up. She's great. So go shout outs to Jody. I'll leave links for her peer stuff there, so go give her a listen. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to share, like, and subscribe. It goes a long way. I feel like an atypical YouTuber asking for your support, but if you don't ask for it, no one's gonna do it. So please, if you could, man, that'd be great. And huge thanks to Dan of Jordan Red for coming on tonight and chatting with me.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys. Stay frosty.